When you have the most powerful power on the entire server, what will you do? You will rest on your laurels and look down on everyone. The character in the story is known by humanity as the King of Violence. Because he rested on his laurels, he was murdered by the entire world in the game The Lord. The leader of the conquest to hunt for the top 1 server is Odin, the Creator King, along with the RAGNAROK Guild. After 9 failed revenge attempts, in the 10th time he was returned to the past, at the time 3 years before the release of the Lord game. Will Rokan continue to fail in this final revenge? Follow Rokan's journey of revenge and find the reason why he was able to regress to the past. The scene has an arrow tearing through the wind rushing fast. Causes an explosion like a hydrogen bomb being dropped. Archer Artemis, who ranked 26th in the Lord, used the ultimate move, Blood of Destruction. The Thunder Mage, Horde, ranked 33rd in the Lord, uses the fatal move Void Blade, aiming to finish off Rokan. Golden Armored Knight, Helios, ranked 19th in the Lord, wielding a great sword and unleashing a wide area attack. Mountain Strike. This is your end, Rokan. Rokan held the sword in his hand without taking any damage. The frightened knight couldn't believe his eyes. When my ultimate move cannot cause damage to Rokan. Rokan gripped the sword tightly, making it shine. I even pity you, a weak knight who likes to show off. Rokan crushed the great sword into iron, finishing off the knight with just 1 slash. When his character dies, he must log out of the Lord. In helplessness, he cursed Rokan. This monster bastard. Did you truly think that I, the mighty Rokan, would die so easily? Nicknamed the King of Violence, the name Rokan ranks 12th in the Lord. Not affiliated with any guild, this is level solo player. If John Wick is known as the Bogeyman in Continental, then in game The Lord, Rokan is known as the Bogeyman, has the power to fight all players alone, but does not belong to any clan. There was a female voice behind Rokan. You're the pest of the Lord. The snapping sound of the Ice Mage, Scotty, ranked 18th in the Lord. Die, Rokan. She uses her ultimate move, Frost Storm, freezing an entire land. Although Rokan is very strong, this magic leaves him with 60% of his health remaining. Rokan was indifferent and did not care about the ice and snow around him, and his body gradually froze. Then you guys are fruit flies. In Rokan's body, there is a huge source of energy radiating with extremely strong pressure. Rokan roared towards the sky, releasing all the energy inside his body. The pressure he exerts is enough to blow away all surrounding objects. That savage bastard. My head. Rokan's roar carries a huge burst of energy, and at the same time causes a stunning effect. When the enemy hears it, they will be stunned and paralyzed for 5 seconds. Seeing that they were stunned and standing still, Rokan clutched his axe and rushed forward, wiping them all out in one fatal blow. 2 thunderbolts, 1 yellow and 1 blue, merged together. Strike down towards Rokan. The power was terrifying. The sound and momentum of the explosion shook the entire earth. Its echo was so terrible that it made a large hole in the ground below Rokan's feet. His body had to kneel down to support it. 2 thunderbolts, 1 yellow and 1 blue, merged together. Strike down towards Rokan. The power was terrifying. The sound and momentum of the explosion shook the entire earth. Its echo was so terrible that it made a large hole in the ground below Rokan's feet. His body had to kneel down to support it. Luckily, for a brief moment, Rokan blocked his weapon in front of himself. After suffering such a terrifying lightning strike, Rokan's vitality went from 60% to 30%. He glanced up at the sky to see who had ambushed him. Above the sky, the person holding the golden thunderbolt is Zeus, ranked 2nd in the Lord. The other person standing next to him is Thor, ranked 4th in the Lord. Both are vice presidents of the RAGNAROK Guild. The 2 of them just bowed and then turned and walked away. The bugs knew that it was not their turn to deal with Rokan. His feeling told him that there was a powerful creature behind him. He immediately turned around to see what it was. Above the sky, there was a person standing there. Around him, there were thousands of spears of light surrounding him. Rays of light shined on his armor, emitting a divine aura. He stood on high and looked down like a god, looking at humans as ants. He is Odin, called the King of Creation. The person ranked 1st in the game. The Lord is also the president of the RAGNAROK Guild. When he saw the person above the sky was Odin, Rokan's face darkened. His beastly eyes appeared wanting to swallow the prey before him. Oh, you're here, bastard Odin. Rokan clutched his weapon in his hand. He gathered all his strength into his legs to jump up into the sky. Odin, he just put his hand forward. controlling his magic source to release outwards. With only his own thoughts, Odin controlled thousands of spears of light to rush towards Rokan. Rokan used his own weapon to defend, slashing all the light spears. While he was blocking the spears of light, the system message appears: "You have been afflicted with restraint due to an unknown power. Movement speed decreased by 30%. Attack speed decreased by 30%. Rokan helplessly looked up at the sky as thousands of spears of light rushed towards him. The scene looks like thousands of stars are preparing to collide with the earth, wanting to destroy everything it falls upon. A series of spears of light fell. Another round, not leaving Rokan's body completely dead. Odin wants to turn Rokan's body into a honeycomb. Rokan could only scream loudly in pain. His scream echoed throughout the sky. The notification now appears. Vitality has dropped below 2%. Bodily functions decreased. All over Rokan's body were spears of light. Around him, there were many pairs of eyes emitting murderous intent that wanted to execute Rokan, members of the RAGNAROK guild. Odin slowly walked closer to Rokan's broken body. The surrounding space was quiet, and no one dared to speak. "Come under my wings now, and I will return to you what you've lost." "No, I'll give you more than that." He valued Rokan's ability and gave words to convince Rokan to come work for him. He laughed loudly in Odin's face, raised his finger to curse at him. "Ha ha. Fuck off, you bastard. I'll destroy you soon, so you better watch out." "What a shame." Finishing his words, gathering magic into his hand, the source of magic turned into a sword, slashed Rokan's head off. A system message appears. "Your Rokan has been destroyed." The Lord's gaming capsule releases steam to stabilize external and internal pressure when the player returns to the real world. Rokan walked out of the engine compartment, angry that he lost again to the RAGNAROK gang. He scratched his head, unable to understand where he had gone wrong in his preparations to let them defeat him so easily during the last revival. After a while, he released his anger. He sighed, thinking about the game he was once the champion of, Top 1 server, virtual world game The Lord. A few years ago, this game suddenly appeared and made the whole world crazy about it. There was formed an extremely perfect virtual world, very few errors, and very similar to the real world. I, Rokan, was once the strongest person in that world. When anyone sees me, I bow my head. My ranking is Top 1 server in solo compatibility, and the strongest SS level player in the Berserker class, known as the King of Violence. But after the appearance of Bastard Odin, everything changed. Bastard Odin always oppresses Rokan in every aspect. He cannot understand why that bastard has such unreasonable power. This is the 8th time Rokan was beaten by the entire RAGNAROK clan. Every time he dies in the game, Rokan's level will decrease, and items will also drop randomly. The guys in the game, they brag about making a lot of money from the game. Rokan himself has devoted everything to the Lord game. Rokan would rather die than be determined not to give up when defeated by those bastards. Rokan's eyes widened. The bastard figure of Odin and his synchro appeared in his eyes. Heavy raindrops fell to the ground. Rokan's body was covered in slashes as well as spears of light, pinning his body on the ground. The raindrops fell as if crying for his cruel fate. He froze when he saw the notification system. "You are no longer able to retain the nickname King of Violence due to failure to clear the minimum requirements." Rokan didn't care. Everything he had and his unique title were gone. In a pathetic appearance, he shouted, looking helpless. "Saw what happened just now." Odin evaluates that Rokan is no longer qualified to rank in the game The Lord. Now Rokan is just a normal character in the game. There's no value in killing you anymore. The entire RAGNAROK guild turned and left. They only see Rokan as a character who has been eliminated. If they want, they can ask a normal person to deal with Rokan in the game. In Rokan's mind, in the end, he was the one who failed and lost everything he had. Lost the Violent King nickname, level, and all items that Rokan had. A huge bolt of lightning struck Rokan, and the scream echoed throughout the world. Destroy all remaining traces. The legend of Rokan, the strongest and most violent person in the Lord game, ended disastrously, or just the end of a dark era to enter a new era. The scene shifts to the room where Rokan is. Like normal days, when he was still sleeping, rays of sunlight shone through the window, waking up Rokan from his coma. In the end, there was no plot twist at all. He was surprised before his eyes. The compartment connected to the game The Lord here was no longer there. He remembered that he had not asked to return the connection compartment. One thing was for sure, he had carefully locked his room door before using the connection compartment. When Rokan looked around the room, he was stunned to realize that the scenery around his room had changed. He accidentally kicked the phone on the floor. The phone screen lights up with a notification. Virtual reality game The Lord will be released soon. Rokan goes to the convenience store. He screamed because he was so surprised after hearing the staff say it was now 2021. Rokan suddenly remembered something terrible had happened. His body stiffened. He quickly ran out of the store as if a ghost was chasing him behind him. Running instinctively for a while, he looked around. This was exactly the same residential area where he lived 3 years ago. In his mind, Rokan wondered what the hell was going on. What he remembered at the last moment was that his body was destroyed by lightning without a trace. Rokan is thinking, is he being hypnotized and going to a dream world? Like the title of the movie he saw was called The Matrix. After Rokan realized, he was in the real world. The first thing you need to do is go to the gym. He kicked the punching bag, the impact echoing throughout the gym. With his current physical strength, the punches he swung were powerful, even though Rokan had lost all the physical strength he had worked so hard to train. The people around gossiped about Rokan. What martial art are you using? Maybe it's punching and kicking. There are many people who do not believe that ordinary punches and kicks can bring such terrible power. Rokan squinted his eyes and looked at everyone talking around him. Obviously, the people here have never seen rights and fees like this. This is a type of martial art that he himself created. For Rokan, punching and kicking are just techniques when fighting. You need to have strength, endurance, and a strong will. That's what I concluded after going through intense training. Your body will gradually get used to the pressure and become strong. Having a healthy body, the magical power when used in the game is even stronger. If God gave you resurrection, go back to the past 3 years before the release of the game The Lord. I will cherish this opportunity. On the release date of the Lord game, Rokan bought himself a compartment connected to the game server. Everything is familiar to him, so he can easily operate all the functions of the engine compartment. A familiar voice came out. Welcome to the virtual reality game The Lord. Setting up the system. The surrounding scenery is still the same as the first time logging into the game. The source of divine light emitted remained unchanged. The system needs you to name the character in the game. Note, character names cannot be changed for personal information security reasons. I want to name my character Rokan. Welcome to the Lord, Rokan Virtual World. The scene shifts to a village engulfed in fire. Lots of shouting, calling each other to run quickly. The cause of all the things that happened to the village was the goblin invasion. Just entering the game, Rokan was brought here. System notification. Do you want to start the tutorial mission? If you refuse, you will not receive the tutorial reward. Without hesitation, Rokan agreed to begin instructing. A level 2 goblin monster sees Rokan. It roars to scare its prey. Rokan looked around and found an axe. He held the weapon tightly in his hand. At the same time, the monster was jumping towards Rokan. The goblin saw the murderous aura radiating from the human that was even stronger than him. It shook with fear. Rokan easily cut it in two. The power of the slash was so strong. Blow away the land where the goblin was standing. This feeling of killing makes Rokan feel familiar. His aggressive blood was boiling in his body. You all shake, because my violent king Rokan has returned. Because he had just logged into the game, Rokan was at level 1, and had defeated a level 4 goblin. The system informed him that he had received his first title, the Birth of a Warrior. In the game The Lord, there is a special feature called the Achievement System. When a player performs a special action or achieves something extraordinary, the system will evaluate whether this is an impossible task or not. Through a carefully selected achievement system, the guesswork will be made and titles awarded to players. The requirements of the tutorial mission force the player to survive before the goblin army invades the village. All he needed to do was avoid the goblins and escape the village. Currently, in the first days of the game's release, Rokan is the only one who knows how to complete the tutorial missions. All residents in the village were killed by goblins. Luckily, a little girl quickly escaped when her parents sacrificed themselves to prevent the goblins from touching their child. The goblins did not give up on the little girl, trying to follow in her footsteps. A goblin realized that his prey was gradually escaping. He held the tip of his spear and launched it towards the prey. In a moment of life and death, Rokan jumped down and slashed the spear-wielding goblin, preventing it from launching its weapon. The remaining goblin stiffened, not knowing what was going on. Immediately, a battle axe was thrown at it. It roared in pain and fell to the ground. This time, he threw the axe to hit the goblins, helping him kill 25 goblins. If you can't face it head-on, Rokan used the strategy of hunting goblins alone. and setting up ambushes before taking action. If too many goblins are defeated, their number will be less than 15. The goblin boss will realize the danger and call the goblin soldiers to gather. Now Rokan must use the second plan. Rokan entered the village medicine shop. After searching, he found medicine to restore vitality. As he was checking his weapon, there was an angry roar from outside. The goblin boss commanded his soldiers to find out the reason why the number of his goblin soldiers had decreased. Rokan walked out and saw the goblin boss. He encouraged it to come here and deal with him. The goblin boss's eyes looked at Rokan. It was certain that he was the one who had taken care of more than half of his goblin army. He commanded the goblin soldiers to attack Rokan. Facing Rokan was the goblin army. Rokan summoned his remaining potions. When he drinks it, his strength and dexterity increase. After Rokan drank the medicine, a wave of his hand sent a goblin flying into the wall. Seeing the scene of his accomplices being easily dealt with, the goblins rushed forward to avenge their fellow humans. Facing them is only death, one strike at a time. No goblin could block a single blow. After a while of dealing with hundreds of goblins, the system warns him alone against a large number of enemies stronger than himself, has qualified to receive the title of Natural Warrior. The effect allows him to take down a large number of enemies 3 levels higher than him. After looking at the status board, he assessed that even though he was at level 1, his current stats were equal to a level 10 player. Behind him, a group of goblins holding weapons rushed at Rokan. A bunch of crazy people. "Are you still not awake, you idiots?" Rokan swung the axe in his hand, and in just a split second, he defeated the entire herd of goblins. While he was distracted, Boss Goblin blindsided Rokan from within the smoke and dust. With just one blow, it shook the ground. Monster information. Elite Goblin Boss level 15. Slowly, it will be your turn, you stupid boss. Are you scared because my fighting ability is too overwhelming? Boss Goblin was angry, roared, held his weapon, and slashed at Rokan. Rokan easily dodged all of the Goblin Boss's attacks. Even though Rokan himself had good evasion techniques, the level difference was too high. He was hit in the shoulder by the boss. In one blow, hitting Rokan, Boss Goblin unleashed a powerful move to defeat him. The force of the blow sent smoke and dust flying everywhere, causing his body to be blown far away. Facing an opponent much stronger than him, the warrior instinct in his body delighted. Rush into the boss without fear. He avoided the boss's fatal blow and jumped high to aim at its weak point. The goblin boss's weak point is his neck. He unleashed all his strength, wanting to defeat it in one move. Luck was not on his side. His slash only caused the boss to lose one ear. Rokan's face darkened. He couldn't believe his eyes that the boss was still alive. Boss Goblin held Rokan's hand tightly, breaking the bones of the hand. Boss Goblin was angry when he lost an ear. He threw Rokan to the ground, like Hulk threw Loki to the floor. Rokan's vitality is reduced to 20% due to the damage he takes. It raised its foot and wanted to stomp on Rokan. He dodged and rolled to the side, but the power was terrible, blowing away rocks and soil around him. Rokan assessed the boss's strength not in strength or speed. The boss's advantages are defense and endurance. Currently, he couldn't defeat it with his current level and weapon. The potions you took are only effective for 5 more minutes. He thought about how to deal with this tough boss. Looks like you're good at taking blows. So let's compare who can endure the beating the longest. The goblin boss was surprised by Rokan's actions of running away from the battle. For him, fighting like a warrior was a matter of pride, and he was angry that Rokan had run away like a coward. No matter where he was hiding, with the goblin's sense of smell, it discovered where Rokan was hiding. It just sees you as a weak mouse and happily chases you. Inside the house, Rokan had pain all over his body because his ribs and arm bones were broken. Even though he's in the game, everything seems very real. He summoned a scroll of low-level fire resistance paper from the store from his space bag. Effect: grants fire resistance for 10 minutes. The boss rushed into the house where Rokan was hiding, shattering everything inside. It slashed wildly throughout the house, aiming to reduce his range of movement in the narrow space, easily hitting Rokan. Because he didn't have enough space to dodge, he was hit directly by the boss's attack, causing Rokan to fly into the wall. Vitality reduced by less than 10%. The boss approached him, emitting a huge source of killing intent. Rokan gripped his weapon tightly, using all his remaining strength. Throw the axe towards the boss. The boss laughed at his useless struggling actions. Do you feel happy when toying with me? But this is the last time you will be toyed with by me. Boss Goblin had a feeling that something was wrong with Rokan's throat just now. It saw that his weapon was chopped into the pillars that supported the house. Goodbye, stupid boss. Strategy number 3 in the game, The Lord. Take advantage of what's around you as a weapon. The boss ran quickly towards the window to avoid the house collapsing. Unfortunately, this time, luck was on Rokan's side. He defeated the goblin boss with a preset trap. For a warrior who was once strong, hundreds of thousands of people alone used tactics to win, instead of comparing his own strength, making Rokan disappointed in himself. All these humiliations are caused by the name Odin. Just wait. I will make you pay 10 times, 100 times more than what I went through. The system notified him that he had completed the tutorial task. Because of his achievement of defeating someone 10 times stronger than himself, he received the title Descendant of David, and he was the first person to achieve this title. Awarded an additional title, a handicap of 17. After evaluating your fighting skills, give more titles, Unstoppable. After evaluating his tenacity to not give up, Rokan was delighted with the titles he achieved when he was only level 1. Items obtained after the battle with the goblin boss are barley hard bread, 50 coins, and 5 anonymous boxes. When Rokan checks the status window, see the effects of the titles. He was happy. His efforts had paid off. After the tutorial mission, he returned to Pocket Rookie City. He looked around the city and saw a crowded scene of people walking around. Even though the game The Lord had only been released a few hours, Rokan thought about the people who murdered him, some of whom were already here. The future hounds will follow Odin. They will be members of the RAGNAROK guild. You need to find them immediately and take them all down, so that no one will develop in the future. Rokan went to the Berserker guild. In the guild, there was only one man sleeping. Hello, sir. Are you still working here? Seeing the young man in front of him, the man thought he had wandered here. If this is the Berserker guild, it seems I've come to the right place. You should know this clearly. A player can only choose one profession as the default. He agreed to all the requirements of the Berserker profession, a breath of energy emitted from Rokan's body. The system notifies you that you have changed to the Berserker profession. Welcome to becoming a Berserker. I hope you discover the true potential of this profession. Now comes the career transfer reward of all the weapons here. You can choose one thing. Without hesitation, he chose the old weapon that helped him dominate in the game The Lord, a battle axe. The man saw Rokan's proficiency in using specialized weapons of the Berserker profession, and his face became serious. Rated Rokan as the most gifted person he had ever met. Holding his beloved weapon in his hands, he felt transported back to the golden moments of the past. At first, Rokan hesitated about which profession to choose, because he has the knowledge of his previous life and knows how to achieve hidden vocations, but wants to deal with Odin and an entire Ragnar clan alone. There's nothing better than the Berserker profession. The Berserker job has a skill, Crazy, that helps him increase his strength when facing a large number of surrounding enemies. This skill is not fixed. It can be upgraded as the player tries to fight frantically through many battles. A notice board appears. You have received the hidden quest for the Berserker job. After switching jobs, Rokan ran to the bank. Welcome to Eric Bank. Our bank always brings joy to you. What can I do for you? I want to borrow money. Because this is his first profession, the largest loan is 30 silver coins, with an interest rate of 3% per month. When he got a loan from the bank, Rokan took him to the Berserker guild to buy all the skill books. Having learned the axe magic skill, you can swing the axe fluently. As skill proficiency increases, speed and attack ability also increase. Having learned the flash skill, you can move quickly in 3 steps. Having learned the attack skill, the next attack will be stronger than normal. Learn the battle roar skill, scaring the enemy with a crazy roar. Learn the skill of turning berserk, burning one's own vitality to create terrible power. I have a question. Do you know anything about the hidden quest of the Berserker jobs? Is there such a mission? I've never heard of this job's hidden quest. Having learned all the skills, Rokan sat in the center of the beginner city square. He posted a notice that he needed an engineer to go with him to the orc barracks. The reward was 15 silver coins. Hey brother, do you want me to take you to the orc camp? As for the reward, I want to receive it all first. Oh, you have a confident attitude. So what is your level? I'm level 25, and I'm a knight who specializes in defense. Go play somewhere else. Level 25 is weaker than level 1 like me. We need at least 2 people above level 30 to get to the orc camp. With your power, I can knock you down with just 1 punch. He was angry when he heard Rokan insult himself in public. I don't believe in your ability. He used the skill to see through Rokan's status panel. What are you doing? Your actions have angered me. After seeing that Rokan's level was level 1, he sneered. See, Rokan is just exaggerating his own abilities. If your skills are not equal to anyone else, you should shut your mouth and go away. What are you talking about? Do you believe I'll punch you and knock your teeth out? You try your hand. You arrogant guy who thinks he can go to the orc camp when he's only level 1. Haha. Level 1 is enough to handle 10, level 25 guys like you. What did you say? Try saying it again. He summoned armor all over his body to prepare for a solo battle with Rokan. Come on, newbie bastard. Haha. Please indulge the weak cow if you like. The battle between level 1 and level 25 made everyone rush to see the results. Some people discussed that level 25 would smash the level 1 guy. He is fully equipped with armor and weapons in his hand. Looking at you, you were so scared that you even took off your armor and put it on. Wish you luck next time. Take out your weapons and let's start the battle. My weapon right here. Very well, I will smash your head, you arrogant person. He tightened his grip on the weapon, swinging a full force blow at Rokan. The level 25 player's strength caused the ground to crumble. Seeing that Rokan's movement speed was faster than him, he slashes wildly. If Rokan gets hit with just one attack, he will log out immediately. You're already tired just now. We have to continue the solo match. As he was gaining momentum, Rokan's punch was faster, punching the knight in the face. Although Rokan's current strength level is 1, the punch's power is so great that the helmet breaks. You stupid person who doesn't know how to evaluate, you can only think of level 1. But my base stats are already over level 50. The powerful punch of a level 1 player makes everyone who sees it stunned. Oh my god, even level 25 armor shattered in one punch. Suffering so much pain, he foamed and his limbs shook. I advise you this, not all level 1 are the same. Don't you understand, you idiot? The knight's body suffered so much damage that he lost consciousness. Who still dares to look down on level 1 players anymore? I can't believe the punch level is level 25. Did you use hacking? My message requests level 50 players to come with me to the orc camp. If anyone finds himself strong under level 50, they can come with me. Come on up here. I heard the announcement that you want to go to the orc camp. Our team can help you get there. If we go take you to the orc camp, we will receive 15 silver coins, right? Rokan observed their group. He judged their level and equipment to be fine. A fairly balanced team, with a tank, damage dealer, and a healer. Instead of forming a team, I just want your group to bring servants to the orc camp gate. I gave 10 silver coins first as a deposit fee, and I will give the remaining 5 coins when the mission is completed. Rokan and his group of 3 went to the harsh forest, where the orc camp was located. We're here. The destination is right ahead. There will be orc soldiers patrolling around the barracks. Rose, please give me the thing I asked you to bring. The group leader had already prepared in advance. It's a big piece of Kobe beef. Orcs have a very sensitive sense of smell. They smelled a strange smell. Seeing that the orc guards had been lured, the group leader commanded everyone to follow him closely. He knows the way to the orc camp. The orc barracks are separated from the outside by a wall made of wood, so it's easy to create a hole in the wall to sneak inside. After passing this place, you entered the orc camp. Okay, mission completed. Here's the remaining money. Are you sure it will be okay to go there alone? Good luck to you, Rokan. Do you think it will be okay if he goes in there, Captain? He is not an ordinary player as everyone sees. A level 1 player punches through level 25 armor, easily defeating a level 25 knight. According to my observations, Rokan is a very strong player. He is hiding his true strength. I wonder why Rokan has to stay at level 1 to enter the orc camp. The animals in the barracks realized that humans were invading their territory. They roared to alert the entire orc camp that there was an intruder. He took a deep breath and shouted loudly to fight the strongest person in the orc camp. He wanted a battle between real warriors. Whoever is strongest among you will come forward and fight with me. If you shout this in the middle of an orc camp, they will fight a duel to defend their honor. In the harsh jungle, the orcs are famous for their title battles between the strongest warriors to challenge each other. The fastest way to level up and gain great power in the game The Lord, you have to challenge an enemy that is 2, 10, or even 100 times stronger than yourself. From fierce battles, if you win, you will achieve the impossible title, the legendary impossible title that brings many rewards. After hearing Rokan's provocation, the orc chief stood up to accept the challenge. This is your chance to prove your honor. Come on, you arrogant human. Rokan's current level was 50 compared to the Orc Chief's level of 70. The difference was 20 levels. He was completely unable to win. The elite orcs looked down on Rokan's abilities. They asked the Patriarch to let them fight Rokan to prove their honor. This looks interesting. You need to check it out before fighting me. Kalo, you should fight that human. Orc warrior Kalo ranked 4th. Then start the battle quickly so I can fight your clan leader. Hey, Patriarch, you just stand there until I'm done with this battle. I will come and strike you down. Seeing his Patriarch humiliated, Kalo angrily rushed to attack Rokan. Kalo's full force attack was directed towards Rokan. Kalo couldn't believe that the small human could block his attack. With his strength, Rokan easily pushed Kalo back. Seeing Rokan's strength, the orc's warrior instincts reminded Kalo that Rokan was not an ordinary human. Kalo uses his battle cry to stun and apply fear to Rokan. Under the debuff effect, all of Rokan's strength stats decreased, his body shaking with fear. 27.28. Monsters know how to use berserker skills. This is interesting. Taking advantage of Rokan's debuff effect, Kalo grabbed his weapon and rushed forward, wanting to quickly defeat him. Do you think about using berserker skills to fight another berserker? So stupid. The two got into a fierce battle. Rokan easily dodged and blocked Kalo's attacks. But Kalo cannot defend against Rokan's attacks. The surrounding orcs cheered Kalo. Kalo, use all your strength. Repel him, Kalo. The orc chief observed the battle between Kalo and Rokan. It is estimated that Kalo has more strength and speed than the human, but Kalo still hasn't won. Haha, you're probably very curious why the debuff effect of the battle cry skill doesn't affect me, right? Not letting himself be humiliated like that, Kalo shouted and used all his remaining strength in a fatal blow. With just a slight push, Kalo's weapon flew out of Kalo's hand. A premonition of fear caused Kalo himself to jump back to defend. Taking this opportunity, Rokan jumped high and used the strike skill. His next attack doubles his power. Goodbye, Kalo. I will remember your honor. In his final moments, Kalo judged that Rokan was truly the strongest human he had ever fought. Rokan's powerful strike caused Kalo's body to be doubled. The surrounding orcs suddenly couldn't believe their eyes. Kalo was defeated again. Seeing that Kalo was defeated, the orc chief approached Rokan. Killing intent radiated from him as Rokan raised his vigilance. Now, the battle between two strong warriors fighting for their honor, officially begins. Rokan grabbed Kalo's weapon in his hand, heading towards the orc chief. Let's begin. I, the king of violence, Rokan, will defeat you. I will let you go first, weak but arrogant human. Haha. Then I'll go first. Using the berserk skill, Rokan's body radiates dark energy. Rokan burned all his vitality, betting on the match. In 10 minutes, he cannot defeat the orc chief. He will lose because he will lose all his vitality. I can feel it, this familiar feeling. The blood inside the body boiled and power exploded. For this reason, we cannot give up going crazy. Feeling the crazy aura radiating from Rokan, the orc chief was surprised, unable to imagine that a small human's body contained such terrible power. Before Rokan's terrible power, with just one jump, the ground below shattered. The orc chief easily blocked Rokan's attack in a berserk state. What's wrong? Are you overwhelmed by my glamour? He stepped on the orc chief's greatsword and jumped back to gain momentum. Come on, fight hard, you stupid old orc. Rokan used flash skill, approaching the orc. The orc only blocked one axe, but the other axe was aimed at its face. Even though he was hit directly in the face, its tolerance was too high, causing his arm to tremble from the blow just now. Compared to strength and endurance, Rokan lost, but his current speed was better than him. Use speed and agility. Rokan dodged all of the orc's attacks. Seeing an opening, Rokan jumped up, using his legs to kick the orc's stomach hard. The orcs around saw their chief struggling, making them confused. My body is being pushed back by him. We cannot be passive. Must find a way out. Damn, I'm taking the initiative. But when the time to go crazy is over, it's time for me to end the game. The difference in rank makes Rokan unable to deal fatal blows, so he has to think of a way to end the fight quickly. Rokan aimed for an opening. He rushed forward, wanting to deal a fatal blow. No, something is not right here. This is the trap. The orc chief used all his strength to dodge the great sword as Rokan rushed towards it. Rokan used all his strength to block the great sword flying at him. Even though he was able to block it, its power did not decrease. It was pushing him back. The great sword's power was so great that it destroyed Rokan's battle axe to stop the sword. The attack just now caused Rokan's vitality to decrease by 30%, leaving him berserk for 80 seconds. That's all you have, arrogant human, whatever you think. It's me who feels disappointed when fighting with a weakling like you. Haha, what are you talking about? What do you think? It's so fake, a coward who only knows how to play dirty like you. You said something. You think I don't know? You could have fought me from the start. But didn't you use the pretense of having your juniors fight against me in order to drain my physical strength? That was your plan from the beginning. It's funny, you're about to lose, so you start making excuses. Playing dirty, human. If you want me to play dirty, then I will satisfy you. With only a few dozen seconds of madness left, Rokan wanted to burn all his vitality into a direct strike. The murderous aura radiated more intensely, making the orc chief afraid. The momentum of the two weapons collided, emitting a powerful aura that forced the surrounding orcs further away from the battle. Rokan was crazy and fearless, attacking violently head-on, not caring that he would be hit by the orc chief. Rokan ignored the pain in his body, even though the notifications kept reminding him that his vitality was rapidly decreasing. Are you desperate? You're too reckless. You weak human. Shut your mouth. You foolish old orc. Struggling in despair is pathetic. Victory is in our hands. Rokan's health is below 10%. The body is shaking. The side effect of the effect will cause bleeding. You are in critical condition. Vitality has dropped below 5%. It's all over. Goodbye. I will respect your warrior reputation, weak human. In the last moment, Rokan activated the effect of the legendary title, Never Giving Up. Legendary title effect appears when vitality reaches 2%. All stats increase by 50%. The crazy skill only has 30 seconds left. Now it's time to officially end it all. Sensing danger that could take your life, the orc chief was afraid of that terrible power. He summoned his skill to increase its defense ability. Rokan delivered powerful blows that shook the orc's defenses. Let me see how many more attacks you can take. We must try. We must try to endure the blow. The great sword could not withstand Rokan's powerful attacks. The great sword showed many cracks, then broke into small pieces. This is impossible. How is it possible? Nothing is impossible. For me, it is not an impossible task. Activate the strike skill. Rokan slashed a fatal blow, not giving the orc time to defend.